What up guys, Miguel here of Tech, and in this full review video, we're checking out, I'm sure you can already tell by the video's title, the just launched POCO M6 Pro 4G, the 3-year-old independent smartphone company's latest M-series offering to hit our local shores. The M6 Pro 4G brings a blend of powerful performance, an impressive display, and the first in the POCO M lineup to feature OIS on its 64-megapixel main camera, a sought-after camera feature in the mid-range segment. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Starting off with the POCO M6 Pro 4G's build and design. It boasts a nice and lightweight form factor weighing in at about 180 grams, and it gets an IP54 splash and dust resistance rating. Our review unit is in this purple variant, and it looks pretty good in general. It's also available in black and blue if you want something a little less flamboyant. In front, we get this nice 6.67-inch Full HD Plus display that gets almost symmetrical bezels all around with a little bit of allowance at the corners, and a punch-hole selfie camera embedded at the top center. The display also features Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection to add to the M6 Pro's screen durability. We still recommend a screen protector, of course, because glass is still glass. The volume rocker and power button are situated on the right side, and the hybrid dual SIM card tray is on the left. On top is a noise-canceling mic for audio input, an infrared sensor for using the M6 Pro as a remote, followed by a speaker grill for 1 out of 2 stereo speakers and a 3.5mm audio jack. At the bottom is another microphone, a USB Type-C port for charging and wired data transfers, and 2 out of 2 stereo speakers. Move over to the rear and we get to gaze over the tasteful two-tone impression of the rear panel. Our eyes immediately focus on the 2 large camera sensors, and next to them is the macro sensors and POCO M6 branding. The rear panel is made out of a polycarbonate. Well, technically, we're not sure. It does feel like glass, but I want to say polycarbonate material. And whether it's glass or plastic, overall, with everything all together, the device feels solid. And I know this portion of the rear might seem, well, kind of matte or like sandblasted, but clearly it is not. Just like the X6 and I believe X6 Pro, they're quite prone to fingerprints and smudges here at the rear, so you might want to slap on the clear case included in the box to mitigate that. Overall, its build is solid, but its dimensions aren't my favorite. And I wouldn't want to be dipping this phone in the toilet bowls either. Although, the POCO M6 4G's 6.67-inch Flow AMOLED display, it offers vibrant visuals with nice color reproduction and contrast. It even features a dynamic refresh rate of 30 to 120 Hz for better battery consumption when, in different use cases with the device. This, coupled with an instant touch sampling rate of 2160 Hz, ensures smooth scrolling and precise touch response, great for mobile gaming. Overall, watching videos and consuming content like playing games is pleasant on the M6 Pro 4G's display. Paired up with the dual stereo speakers that aren't the best on the market, but definitely get points for loud mids and deliver a satisfactory auditory experience for media consumption. And if you want more boost and audio immersion, having a little more flexibility for wired headphones or earphones through the 3.5mm audio jack at the top is always great to have. The M6 Pro 4G features an optical in-display fingerprint scanner at the bottom portion of the display. It's in a comfortable spot but could be placed a bit higher in my opinion. But it works great at everyday use, and we definitely trust this more than the optical face unlock option available, which actually also unlocks the phone quick and accurately. I know there are some wizards out there who like to use both biometric security options together in tandem. No shame in that either. Jumping into the M6 Pro 4G's camera system, its main triple camera system at the rear is equipped with a 64-megapixel main sensor that features optical image stabilization, an 8-megapixel ultrawide, and a 2-megapixel macro sensor. In the punch hole in front resides the 16-megapixel selfie camera. The camera app itself adds a myriad of beauty and image filters to add somewhat of a creative touch to the photos users may take for social media postage. But all in all, images made with the M6 Pro 4G by default without any beauty features come out pretty good, especially in optimal lighting condition. Pictures look sharp with vibrancy in the colors, and details are well preserved with good contrast. But quality can bump down to watercolor painting-like in less than favorable lighting conditions. For video, the M6 Pro 4G's main camera system supports shooting up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and up to 1080p at 60 frames per second with the front-facing sensor. I think retail units are supposed to be running on Xiaomi's new HyperOS operating system based on Android 14. But at the time of this video's recording, and I'm gonna check it out right now, it runs on Android 13 with MIUI 14 on top. And I just tried to look for that HyperOS update. No updates available. However, our POCO X6 Pro unit has gotten it, so you can check out our full review on that device to check out Xiaomi's HyperOS over here. From what I have seen and gotten to play with HyperOS, it adds some sought-after functionality to Xiaomi and POCO handsets. I'm still not the biggest fan of the interface though. And MIUI 14 and HyperOS aren't the only ones that do this, mind you, but I'm certainly not a fan of all the bloatware pre-installed, and I also don't like the app drawer if you guys use those. My experience with the app drawer, especially if you turn on the AI search thing, is kinda clunky. Turning it off makes it better, but yeah, still not the biggest fan here. Either way, it's a usable interface, also with a lot of customizability to change the theme and overall look of your interface, and even nifty shortcuts like double pressing the lock button to launch the camera. I shall show you that again. Bang. When playing games, a Game Turbo side menu pops up on the top left corner of the display to give users useful features to better the overall performance of the game you're playing. If your unit doesn't come with HyperOS at launch, it should be upgradable at a future date. Powering the M6 Pro 4G is a MediaTek Helio G99 Ultra 6nm chipset that features an octa-core CPU capable of up to 2.2 GHz with a Mali G57 MC2 GPU present. It's configured with LPDDR4X memory and UFS 2.2 internal storage in either a 8 plus 256GB or 12 plus 512GB configuration for RAM and storage. And it also features memory extension 3.0 for extended RAM of up to 8 gigs, totaling to a potential of 20 gigabytes of RAM with the highest configuration. In sacrifice of the phone's second SIM slot, users can also opt for expandable storage of up to 1 terabyte via a micro SD card. We've played our usual suspects for mobile gaming, like Mobile Legends and Genshin Impact, and the M6 Pro 4G handled them pretty well. Playing on that 120Hz AMOLED panel looks great in general, and for Genshin Impact, we were able to set the graphics to low and not lowest, which is what it's set to by default. It runs on a client FPS of 30 frames per second, with the phone outputting 60Hz when playing, and that was for when set to lowest or low. For those interested in our synthetic benchmark scores, you can check them out on screen now. Moving over to the M6 Pro 4G's battery, under the rear panel it sports a substantial 5000 mAh lithium-ion cell, which does seem to be the norm nowadays. It's also capable of 67-watt turbo charging, another first in the POCO M series with the brick included in the box. And the M6 Pro's battery charges up from 0 to 100% in about 45 minutes with said charger. Running our battery benchmarks with the device set to airplane mode, 50% brightness, and muted to account for uncontrolled discrepancies. In our PC Mark Work 3.0 battery test, the phone lasted 12 hours and 39 minutes. In real-world use, this translates to, like most phones out there, having to charge the device before going to bed every night, with the battery usage severely eaten up by Waze when in use. If you are an Android Auto user, this also becomes somewhat of a non-issue if you leave your screen turned off anyways, and the same can be said for it if you leave your phone charging while using it as a nav as well. Essentially, battery life on the M6 Pro 4G isn't superb, but it's not too shabby nonetheless. For connectivity, the smartphone gets support for up to 4G on both SIM slots and compatibility with various LTE bands. The device also features Bluetooth 5.2 and standard dual-band Wi-Fi protocols and NFC. The lack of 5G isn't the biggest deal breaker for me, especially for the trade-off in performance, features, and cost. In conclusion, the POCO M6 Pro 4G establishes itself as a feature-packed contender in the mid-range segment. It offers a nice, large display, great performance, and a good set of cameras perfect for social media posting and quick documentation. At the time this video was recorded, we still don't have the official SRP of the M6 Pro 4G here in the Philippines. But we have seen a listing online from Amazon UAE for the top-of-the-line 12GB of RAM plus 512GB of internal storage configuration, priced at 899 dirham, which roughly converts to about 13,600 pesos. Either way, the official SRP of the POCO M6 Pro should be posted in our comment section below at the time this video is published. And honestly, if it's anything near the conversion I just mentioned, it delivers good value for its cost and presents itself as somewhat of an equalizer in the mid-range segment. So, to finish this video off, POCO once again delivers a device that offers good functionality for its cost with the POCO M6 Pro 4G. We recommend it for users on a 2-year smartphone buying cycle within a mid-range budget. But what do you guys think of the POCO M6 Pro 4G? Is it something you would consider picking up? Let us know in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed this video or found it informative or educational, be sure to smack that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon to get notified of our future uploads. Be sure to visit youtube.com and follow us on our socials, that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Miguel, and I'll see ya in the next one. Woo!